Okay, let's take a look at worksheets, pages 97 through 100. These are just a little trickier than your standard worksheets. So let's talk them through. On page 97, you have a riddle, why did the Romans find algebra so easy? And you're going to circle the appropriate letter in the correct column, and then that's going to give you your answer. Now this is not, we're not just playing Wheel of Fortune here. We're using this answer as a way to check our work. So if you get something that almost makes sense, but one of the letters is off, go back and check. Maybe you should have circled a different letter. So this is used to check your work, not in place of your work. 3x equals x times 3. Well, the order changed, so that's the commutative property. So it's not this one, it's not this one, it's not this one. The order changed, and it changed around a multiplication dot. So commutative of multiplication. My answer is going to start with a B. Skipping down to, let's look at number 9. 8 times 3f equals 8 times 3f. One little trick that I like to do is if I can say it, ignoring the parentheses, and it sounds the same, it's the associative property, because nothing has moved around except parentheses. 8 times 3f, 8 times 3f, or 8 times 3 times f, 8 times 3 times f. Those are the same other than the grouping, so this is associative property, and it's grouping around multiplication dots. So it's our W. So you'll go through, you'll circle one letter on each row, and you'll have your answer. Page 98 is similar. We've got another riddle here. But now, sometimes you are applying two different things. So the first one, 3 plus 7 plus 9, 3 plus 9 plus 7. Well, I heard order change, so it's not just associative. So I can cross off associative only. The grouping is still around the same two numbers, they've just swapped order. So I haven't changed, I'm not using associative at all, actually. And since I'm not using associative at all, that's just commutative. I'm not using any distributive on this page or in this because we have no multiplication. So we'll start with commutative only. Let's take a look at number 5 together. We have 3 plus 7 plus 9 equals 3 plus 9 plus 7. Okay, again, I heard something change. It's not associative only. But this time the parentheses are around two different numbers, a 7 and a 9 here, a 3 and a 9 here. So this is a two-step problem. Let's try it out. Let's see what we can do. 3 plus 7 plus 9. If we take 7 plus 9 and swap the order, which we can do because this is in parentheses, we go from 3 plus 7 plus 9 to 3 plus 9 plus 7. So what we did was we swapped the order. This is the commutative property because it swaps the order, and it's around an addition sign, so commutative of addition. Okay, but that's not quite what I wanted. I wanted 3 plus 9 in parentheses. Easy enough. 3 plus 9 in parentheses plus 7. I moved my parentheses. If I'm moving parentheses, that's associative, and it's still of addition. Okay, so I can definitely go from the left side to the right side by doing the commutative and then the associative. The question is, could I do it in either order? Could I do associative first? Well, let's see. Let's try it. 3 plus 7 plus 9. 3 plus 7 plus 9. I can do that. That's allowed. Associative of addition. But now I need to swap my 7 and my 9, and they're not together. They're not in the same parentheses. So the commutative property does not allow you to swap one thing in parentheses with something outside of parentheses. They either both have to be inside together or both outside together. So I cannot do either order, which means I had to do it this way: commutative of addition, associative of addition, commutative, and then associative. And there I have it. Let's do one more. Let's look at 16. So number 16, we have a lot going on here. 5 times 4 plus 3 plus 2 is 5 times 4 plus 3 plus 2. Well, that's interesting. When I said it, nothing changed. So that tells me that the commutative property is not a part of that, that process. So what is a part of the process? What did I change? Well, I changed the grouping. I changed the parentheses from here to here. So this is associative only. Associative only. And, oh, I'm looking at the wrong page. No wonder I got the, okay. One more, let's do 15. Okay, 4, this is correct. It just didn't match with what I had on the other page. So it is, 16 is associative only. 15 though, 15, 4 times 3c plus 1 is 1 plus 4 times 3c. Something changed, it's not associative only. Let's see, 4 times 3c plus 1. I can turn that into, well, I could put my 1 at the beginning, right? So I think of commutative property. Sometimes I draw a little, I think of them as boats. They're swapping positions. So I have 1 plus 4 times 3c. And that was the commutative, because they're commuting around, they're moving around. Commutative of addition, they're swapping around this plus sign. Yes, there's multiplication in here, but the plus sign is what they're moving around. So commutative of addition. And then I'm not quite done. I want 1 plus 4 times 3 times c. Easy enough. 1 plus 4 times 3 times c. I move my parentheses. And doing that was just parentheses, so that's associative, grouping. We're moving them around some multiplication dots. We have associative of multiplication, commutative, and then associative. Okay, so it's not commutative only. It's not associative and then commutative only, but I don't know if it's either order yet. Let's find out. Let's see if we can do this with associative first. 4 times 3c plus 1. We'll try the associative property. So I'm going to move my parentheses here. I'm going to have 4 times 3 times c plus 1. And what allowed me to do that? That was associative, because it sounds the same. So just the grouping. Associative of multiplication. This is associative of multiplication. And then we can swap these two things. Swapping the order. So this is commutative. 1 plus 4 times 3c. That is the commutative of addition. So either order, I could do it C and then A, I could do it A and then C. Notice that it's always associative of multiplication for this particular problem, always commutative of addition for this particular problem, but I could do them in either order. So the answer is right there. Okay, let's take a look at page 99 while we're at it. So page 99, we're looking at properties. For 1 through 9, there's one property that has been applied to each of these. So for example, number 8, I see 3x times 2 plus 5x is 3x times 2 plus 3x times 5x. If you have something that gets duplicated, it's only once over here and it's twice over here, that's the distributive property. So this one is distributive. Remember, well, I'll ask you, is it distributive of addition or distributive of multiplication here? I'll give you a moment to think, but don't think too hard or don't overthink it really, because it's neither one. Distributive property is just the distributive property. Okay, for the next few, I want you to write out the steps like we did on the previous page. So for example, on number 10, we start with 5 times 2 minus a. We have 5 times 2 minus a. That is given. This is kind of a 2-column proof. You may have done this in a geometry class or some other class. We're having the statement and then the reason. Why is this true? Well, because it's what we were given. That's always the first one. What can we do next to make it look a little more like this? Well, there's really not all that much to do. What we can do is we can distribute. That's often what people start with. So that 5 goes to the 2 and to the a. 5 times 2 minus 5 times a. What allowed me to do that? Well, that was the distributive property. Okay, I don't quite have what I want. I need to do 2 things. One is to turn that 5 times 2 into a 10, which I can do at any point. So I can simplify. 10 minus 5a, S for simplify. And then I need minus 5a plus 10. Swap them around. Remember, there's no sign here, so it's a plus sign. I have minus 5a plus 10. If I'm swapping the order, that's commutative. I'm swapping them around a plus sign. Here it's a minus sign, but addition and subtraction. Addition is just subtraction of the negative. So I have commutative of addition. I have my statements, I have my reasons, and at the end, I get the final step. So we start with the first, which is given. We keep going until we get to the right-hand side. Let's talk through one more. So I'm not going to write the whole thing out, but take a look at number 13. We have 2 plus 3 times p minus 1 equals 3p minus 3 plus 2. So I have 3 terms. I've got the 2, I've got the p, I've got the 1, I've got 3 terms, I've got the p term, the 3, the 2. I noticed that the 2 has gotten moved over here. So something's moving. Which property is that? Yep, commutative. And then I see that some things are getting distributed. I can do those in either order. I can move and then distribute. I can distribute and then move. I like to move and then distribute because I have kind of fewer things to keep track of that way. So we'll start out with this and given. We can swap and write down why we can swap them. We can distribute and write down why we can distribute them. And then ask yourself, are you done? Or is there some simplification that needs to happen? On page 100, we're solving problems efficiently. So remember, I said earlier on that sometimes it's easier to do a problem in a different way than it's written, but getting the same answer. Let's take a look at 18. 24 times 25, go. Okay, you might still be thinking. Let's try it again. 25 times 4, you've got 4 quarters. That's 100. Okay, so let's do the easier problem first. 25 times 4 is 100. This is 24 times 100, which is 2,400, or 2,400. So which property did I use for that? Well, I didn't change the order, I just changed which ones I did first. I changed the grouping. So in this case, I used associative of multiplication. Ask yourself if there's another way to do it, while still getting a nice, easy problem. See what you can come up with. And then ask yourself, for these other problems, which ones look like you can rearrange them somehow and get something easier to do. Okay, so that's pages 97 through 100 of your workbook, just a little extra to help you out.